is Yaku from Business Funding Accelerator, here to help you apply for government funding from South African grants. So for today, we're going to look at the Tourism Relief Fund for COVID-19, how to apply and what to do. All right, let's get started. First, I'm going to share my screen. You want to start with Google. Please follow the video and pause as you go along, and you can complete it with me. You're going to go to tourism.gov.za. Here you can see nice and big, COVID-19 Tourism Relief Fund. Application is now open. Click on there. And it's going to tell you the Tourism Relief Fund provides a capped grant assistance, small and micro enterprises. It's 50,000 Rand per entity grant funding. And then the categories that can apply: accommodation, hospitality, travel, and related services. So are you a hotel, lodge, B&B, guest house, backpacker, restaurant, conference venue, catering, attraction, tour operator, travel agent, tourist guide, or car rental? Any of those, you can just click here to apply. You can use any of these links. I prefer the online application. And this is a validation to validate your business. So you enter your company name in full as it's registered. If you have a holding company that owns the business that you're claiming for, enter the holding company's registered name. All right, so PGY and your email address. And then you say validate email. There you get a thank you. You're going to receive an email with a link where you can start your application. We're going to go to that email now. And here you can see, dear applicant, thank you for validating your email. Please click here to continue your application. When you complete, press save and close. So I've clicked on the link and it opens this. It's the COVID-19 Tourism Relief Fund page. Here you can see what we're going to have to complete. We're going to go company information about your company, developmental indicators, that is the type of staff you have, are they African, are they South African, what is the detail, male, female, age, etc. Your contact details, background of a business and status. This will link up with a business profile that you need to complete and attach as additional documentation, the financial information required, the application checklist, and then again some of the demographics of the people working and the shareholders. All right, so this is how you're going to complete it. Please note that these pages have a time limit. If you take longer than 10 to 15 minutes on a page, it's going to expire. So it's good to have all your information together. When it gets to the business information, background and status, that's tab number 4. Financial information, tab number 5. These ones take time. So I've compiled a template in Excel, a duplicate of what's on the website. You can download the template from businessfundingaccelerator.co.za and use that to make sure you've got everything together before you get started. And we're going to go there now. What does the Excel look like? Okay, I've got detail on the Excel. If you download it, it'll give you the website. It'll show you a copy of the email. And then here's the detail. Please note that the pages expire and you need company information, developmental indicators, contact details, etc. So we're going to start with what's on tab 1, the one that's already open on Google, and you enter your company details. The registered business, like I said, if you're a subsidiary of a main business, you still put in the main company. The type of company, is it a Pty, CC, or a trust? Trading name of a business, that is, if your holding company is Massmart Holdings, the trading name could be Macro or Game, for example. And then the main business activity is accommodation, transport, catering, food and beverage. So you know what business you are in, and this is important, the registration number of the business. It'll be the trust number, the closed corporation number, or your PCY, whatever registration number you have. And year established. The year established doesn't have to be the year you registered. I've assisted businesses who have been trading for 12 years, but they've only registered 2 years ago. So then when they ask the year established, you put in the date 2008. So that registration number, you can get that from SARS, and then the description of services offered. That is accommodation, conferencing, catering, etc. And then last one here is, do you own the property or do you lease it? If you say you lease it, then you're going to have to attach a lease agreement with the owner of the property. And then also the second part of this question is, what is the remaining term? So if it's a restaurant, I know you guys sign 3 to 5 year leases. So there you'll indicate, I've got a 5-year lease, but I've got 3 years left on it. You're going to click next on the tab, and we're going to go to developmental indicators. This is your PEE level. I've got a separate page where I'm going to explain how to calculate your PE level, how to do an affidavit. That's part of a template pack. If you're not sure, it's usually, if it's a company under 50 million per annum, then you can calculate it as 100% black shareholding is PE level 1. 51% or more black shareholding is PE 2. And any other exempt micro enterprise or qualifying small enterprise would be PE level 4 or more. Okay, if you larger than 50 million turnover, then you are a generic enterprise and you need to be audited and have a formal certification. So you're going to enter black shareholding, how many black shareholders, how many female shareholders, youth shareholding, under 35 years when you're a youth shareholding, number of youth shareholders, total permanent employees, and total non-permanent. So permanent is you've got a contract and they work more than the minimum amount of hours. Non-permanent could be a casual who comes once a week to do the guide. I'm going to click next. Company information. So what province do you operate in? What's your district? Physical address, postal, who is the person representing the company? That could be a director, it could be a shareholder, could be a manager. And then telephone number, fax, cell phone, email. Make sure the email you enter here is the same one that you validated, as you may get another email from tourism department asking for additional supporting documentation. You're going to click next. And then here we get to the background and status. So what is the background of an enterprise? You're going to have a business profile, a 2 to 5 page business profile and supporting documentation. So this is the information from there. I'm just going to show you quickly what it looks like. As part of the supporting docs, this is also in the pack that I can give you guys. Okay. So this is the business profile that you're going to need to have. I've got a generic template that you just populate into your business name. Introduction. I've got detail describing how to complete it, but you'll typically, everything in blue you change with what your company's details. You give a proper introduction to your company, an executive summary. What do you do? What does the industry look like currently? Is there a lot of operators? Are you only a few? Is it looking good? Is it looking bad? What is the history of your business? Products you're offering? Market focus, competitive advantage, and financial overview. This is your exec summary. Company overview is just a bit more detail. What is the legal entity made of? Who's the shareholders? And what do you each bring to the table? Market overview. Is it a growing market? Is it a depressed market? What is going on? What is the segmentation? So let's say you're in transport. Here you'll typically say your clientele is people traveling from Joburg to wherever you are. And you can also say they are affluent, they are mostly from abroad, mostly local. So you know who your client is, just specify here. And then the market, you can say, I've got some examples on here. On your business, you know what your strengths and weaknesses are. You can say you've got a strong management team, but a weakness would be a cyclical demand for services, which means either your business are you only busy in December and January for holidays and you're quiet in the rest of the year, or it could be vice versa. If you've got a strong business clientele, then you could be very quiet from November to February and it picks up again. That's a weakness of cyclical demand, typical in the hospitality industry. Again, look at some of my examples, complete this. Fourth segment of a business profile, marketing and sales plan. So here I've had some ideas. What's your social media strategy, website? Are you doing email marketing campaigns? Do you use billboards? In the old days, we used to say above the line and below the line media, flyers and printed portfolios. What is the key messages that you put out there? Are you saying you are a premium brand? Are you saying you're an affordable brand, economic brand? What do you want to communicate? And then what is your sales strategy? All right, I've got examples, all of that on the templates. And then financial plan. What does it look like? So you want to put a few years of financials in here. You're going to use the same financials that you're going to need to complete in the rest of the tourism application. They need to be exactly the same. And typically you'll also get this from your audited statements, or if you don't have an auditor, this will be your financial statements that you use, your management accounts. Once you put the details in here, you want to say, why are your figures good? Why are they bad? So let's say we didn't make any profit last year. You can motivate and say, the reason you didn't make any profit is that you reinvested all of your cash flows in additional assets. You bought another shuttle. So that's why it doesn't look like you made any profit, but you spent 300,000 on a shuttle. That's a good example. So just motivate why they look, how they're looking, and then put in a sales summary if you have data available. So this is a quick 5-pager. This is not a complete business plan, but this is what they wanted. So a profile gives them enough about your company to know what is happening. Now, given that you've got that background information, you can easily give them a background of the enterprise and the present status. Right, what is your service offering and what is your capacity for each service category? So your offering would be, I have a guest house, I have 15 rooms, some of them are affordable, bed and breakfast only, some of them are full service suites with a jacuzzi and a nice view, and I've got some self-catering apartments as well. I usually target the business customer. They come usually in the week, Mondays to Fridays, and the self-catering are usually targeting weekend travelers with families and school groups. So, and then some of more background could be, we've been around for 10 years. We started with 1 hotel room. Now we have 15. We've been growing year on year by 12%. And, you know, we are a big player in the market, local markets. So the next one is, what is your solutions already implemented? Here you can say we have filed temporary employee relief scheme for 4 out of our 6 employees, which means 4 of the employees have been laid off temporarily to receive the UIF fund. Also, what we have done, to keep with a hotel example, is we've reduced the amount of rooms and overheads from 20 rooms to 10 rooms. Additional enterprise needs identified. So this is if you need supply chain assistance, not just capital, you need networks, you need masks, you need hygiene assistance, you need quarantine facilities. Whatever additional need you have, you input it here. So plans implemented in the near future to sustain the enterprise. So if they do give you the money, what plans do you have in place to make sure you make it? Now you're going to tie that into your business profile that you've done. So you need to give them some clarity that you're not just going to take the money and then still go out of business. So you need to say you're going to have an increased drive in marketing. You're going to decrease your fixed costs. You're going to decrease your variable costs. You're going to try and build the business back up again as much as you can, and use some of your industry jargon and detail of how you're going to achieve this plan. And then impact of the COVID-19 relief fund is expected to have on your business. Now, for most of the small businesses, this impact is huge. It's a big impact. 50,000 additional might be able to get you through another month or two, might make the difference of failing, closing down, or surviving until you get out of this. So just explain why this is valuable, and you're going to click next. Now, this is the financial information. I've got an example of cash flow statements, statement of profit and loss, and you need to put that information in here. What is your statement of financial position, also called the balance sheet, and then what is your profit and loss statement. So you'll put in the detail here. Let me just give you an example. You're going to start financial year. This would be, let's say, if your current year is 2019-20, so it means February 2019 until February 2020, but you don't have it audited yet. Then your first audited statement would be 2018-19, 17-18, 16-17. So you'll have 3 prior years of audited reviewed statements. You'll have your current management accounts, and then you'll have your projections. These are what you were expecting to do next year and the year after. And you can, so the forecasting on the budget, you're going to enter, you're going to work from your audited statements, your previous statements, how much assets that you have, what is the liabilities, and then what is your owner's equity. Management accounts, you can calculate the current one, and then your budgeted, this is what you are expecting to do. On the profit and loss, it's a bit easier to calculate the budget. So what I recommend for this is you just keep it exactly the same on the budgeted amount. If you don't know how you're going to buy additional assets or sell additional assets. An asset is an additional shuttle, for example, or build an additional hotel room. Profit and loss statement. So this is how much did you do. So your financial years, again, you're going to put 16, 17, exactly the same as above. And then months trading is important. If you only started working or trading in 2017, 18, then you'll have your year 0 in this year. 2016, 17, 0 months traded. Or if you opened in December, you're going to have 1 month traded. And then the rest would be hopefully 12 months that you've traded. And then your turnover, this is your revenue, how much did you sell? Your operating expenses is how much did it cost you to do business? And then That gives you your operating profit or loss. Now, I know in financial statements, there's a lot more. There's your EBITDA, there's your gross profit. There's a lot of other metrics that we work with. They're not interested in the detail. They just want the top line and the bottom line. And then your net profit or loss after taxes. So if you made 200,000 and you paid your 28% tax on that, that gives you 130 odd thousand net profit after you subtracted taxes. Okay, so you're going to complete that for the entire time. On your budget, you do want to show some growth if you have a growth strategy. If you think the market's going to decline, then indicate that. So if your turnover was 100,000 a year, you might want to budget for 120,000 turnover next year and 140,000 the following year. All right, key drivers of a forecast and turnover. Now this is, they want to know, why did you say it's going to go up, or why did you say it's going to go down? So what is the number of rooms? You can say I've got 10 rooms this year, I've got 12 rooms next year. So that's why that's going to go up. My occupancy rate, you can say historically my occupancy in my hotel have been 60% occupied, and you're going to increase your marketing spend as you said in the business profile. So you're going to go for 65% occupancy. And then the average rates charged per room. This again, you can say we have a 10% increase from 700 Rand a night to 770. And then any reason for significant changes in profitability during historic and budget periods where relevant. So this is if there's a big dip, if there's a difference between 2017 and 18. Let's say you did 100,000 here, and then you did 50,000 here. That's the explanation they're looking for. Why did that happen? And then you did, let's say, 120,000 again after that. Why is there a dip? So that's important to note. What is the reason for that happening? And you can say, for example, that you went into business with a unreliable third party and they cost you money. Or you can say there was a recession for COVID, for example. If you were to do this 2 years from now, you can clearly say there was a world crisis of health, and that is why there was a loss of income. Okay, if you complete all of this, you're going to press next. And then this is the checklist. So this is where you want to make sure you've got your business registration documents attached. You have your certified ID copies of the members. So you have a valid tax clearance certificate. They've changed the tax clearance certificate to a tax clearance PIN that you can download from SARS. And then if you are graded, they want to see your grading certificate, industry certification where applicable. So we can tick all of these as we go along. So I've got my business certification. I downloaded this from SIPS. I've got ID copies of the directors. I've got my tax clearance certificate that I got from SARS. I've got a grading certificate that I got from Tourism Grading Council. Any other relevant certification. So let's say you're a transport agency, you could be a member of a transport association, and they certify that for you, or any other formal association. And then, do you lease the property or do you own the property? You're only going to attach the one that's applicable. So if you say you own it, then you tick I own the property, and you need to attach municipal accounts, for example, or a bond registration certificate. And then BEE certificate or sworn affidavit. So I'm just going to pause on this one for 1 second, and I want to show you guys a bit about the BEE. So this is a document that I compiled about your BEE certification. So you can be an exempt micro enterprise operating under 10 million per annum. So an EME or a qualifying small enterprise, which is the next one, between 10 and 50 million, 100% black ownership, you level 1, 51% black ownership, level 2 BEE, and below 51%, you are level 4 BEE. So that is for zero revenue until 50 million per annum. And what you can do if you fall in this category, you can download an affidavit, sworn affidavit from Department of Trade and Industry's website. If you bought the package, the templates, then I'll also have the affidavit included in there. You can just sign it. You can have a post office, a lawyer, or police station stamp it for you, and you attach that. That's valid. If you're doing between 10 and 50 million and you don't have other BEE partners, then you're going to need to have it formally obtained, the BEE scorecard with the 5 categories, and somebody needs to issue you with the BEE certificate. If you're doing over 50 million, then you're a generic enterprise, and the certificate needs to be obtained the same way. Okay, there's some resources that you also can use for DTI, Department of Trade and Industry. That's the most reliable source. Okay, we're almost done with the application. So going back to the checklist, then you've got your sworn affidavit attached there. Your business profile, I already ran you through that. You attach that. Proof of business address. This would be any type of a bill or some sort of proof that you are trading, and you are trading from that premises. And then audited financial statements and management accounts. So this would be from your accountant, and hopefully you do have one. You just attach them, and it needs to be exactly the same figures that you entered on the financial information. And then if you do say in the next tab, you will say how many of your staff is disabled. So that is the next one. If you say you have 2 disabled staff, you need to attach the medical certificates for people with disabilities. Okay. And then who completed this and the date you completed it. So they say this at the end of the application again, but all of these supporting documents need to be emailed to covidrelief@tourism.gov.za. And you're going to use your company registration in the subject line. The last page is developmental indicators. Here you need to say how many shareholders are there and what's the demographic. So we're going to say we've got 1 male management shareholder, that's African, 1 female white shareholder, and it'll calculate it like that. If the company or trust is not owned by some of the management, please provide the company name that owns the shareholding. So in a lot of businesses, we have 2 businesses who co-own another business, and that is this question here. So if you're saying the one group owns 50% and the other group owns 50%, you're going to type it in here in this block. Employment details. So this is the permanent jobs, permanent people that you employ. How many management is African male, female, skilled, male, female, semi-skilled. So skilled would be graduates. Semi-skilled could be diplomas or trades. And unskilled would be blue-collar workers or that type of stuff. And then temporary jobs. So this is typically, it'll be your temp staff that only works when you need to scale your overtime, for example. Then there's a casual coming in once a week or twice a week. Here you indicate African, colored, Indian, white, or foreign. Once you've completed this, you're going to click next, and then you're done. And then you will receive a thank you note from Department of Tourism. They will send you an email that says, thank you, your complete application has been received. Then you will email the documentation, everything on the checklist, and you'll make sure you send it to the right email address. After that, probably a week or two after, you're going to receive an email that says, thank you, we've received your application. Please upload your documentation to the following link again. Please make sure you have everything ready, and then you just upload it again. And then shortly after that, you should receive your funds. Okay, if there's anything, please comment below. If you need any other funding videos for Black Empowerment Fund or for the IDC, please comment below. I'll make the videos and templates and get everything out to you guys as soon as possible. Thank you.